Let's catch up here. Oh, what was I thinking? Shouldn't be objectifying them like that. I need to get my thoughts clear. I couldn't just... Oh. Unless they're just standing in front of her, silently having this conversation with myself. Confused. Need to say something. How did normal people talk? Was it a formal greeting, or would I just come off as pretentious? I should say something more casual, like Celeste would. Make some kind of observation to connect with her somehow. Oh, come on, Tyrion, just say something. Hey, my fellow blonde, what's going on? This memory would haunt me for the rest of my life. Hello? I cleared my throat. I'm sorry if I was staring. I was just, daydreaming, I guess. Oh, that's okay. I wasn't staring at you. That's not to say that I wouldn't intentionally stare at you. Tyrion, what the hell are you saying? She's gonna think you're a psychopath. Recalibrate. Change subject. Do you like chess? Social interactions occur for the sake of engaging in rituals and activities. What activity would someone do at the Lord's Ball? Would you like to dance? Tyrion, you don't know how to dance! Okay. Oh, God. Hey, Esther, what do you think of Arya's dress? Oh, no. It suits you quite well, Arya. You look lovely. Gross. Was this sassy lost child? What I must say, Miss McCoy, I'm surprised to see you here. How did you get an invite to the Lord's Ball? I'm just tagging along for one of Ruby's jobs. Ah, that explains why my Mr. Cuthbert is here as well. Oh, Tyrion's back. Where is he? Uh-oh. Your eyes scanned the ballroom until she found Tyrion. Who the hell is that? Oh, I believe that's Lady Frega. That's strange. She was the rebukes most men who approach her. Oh, she does she? Oh, I guess Tyrion's special for some reason. He ever told me he could dance? They were stumbling along the dance floor. Crown Prince watched as Tyrion stepped on Lady Frega's toes several times. Oh my God, you're terrible. I don't think he actually can. What if Frega went with Tyrion? Is that for something? Arya, what do you know about her? Arya was still staring blankly at the Crown Prince. She was running through several calculations in her head, but failing to arrive at anything. The misstep caused me to step on her foot. I'm so sorry, I don't do this a lot. Or at all. It's okay. At least you're... Oh, Jesus Christ, Tyrion, my guy. Winston Payne accidentally kicked her foot again. Like I was slowly chipping away at that considerate smile on her face. Perhaps you should follow my lead. After I looked downwards, pointing direct, watching to make sure I didn't accidentally parry her foot with mine. It honestly made it easier. Looking at her face presented its own distraction. I'm Tyrion, by the way. Yes, I'm aware. You've been in the paper a lot recently. Oh, I'm Leife, of House Frega. Oh! Much kinder than Miriam. Eh. She does not look very happy here. This is because we stepped on her foot several times in the past few minutes. All the people I could have approached, I chose someone from one of the Four Pillars families. She didn't seem too bothered. Why would she agree to dance with me if she knew who I was? I'm sorry for not bringing it up sooner. I can imagine you wouldn't want to associate with someone like me. Oh, no, it's just that I had to run in with your sister a few months ago. I don't think she cares for me that much. It sounds like we have something in common. Oh, She finished that thought, she suddenly froze. Almost tripped as I avoided stepping on her foot again. She was staring wide-eyed at something behind me. Her breathing was quickening, and her hand began to squeeze my shoulder. Ah! I turned to look and saw Beatrice storming through the ballroom. Is that? I'm terribly sorry, I have to go. And with the word, she quickly left, hurrying after Beatrice. Both of them know each other? Ah, did you get snubbed? Like the Scale Lord, someone I actually know. So, who was that? She wore her usual approachable smile. But I could have sworn something about her tone was louder than usual. I was, trying to talk to people. Isn't that what you told me to do? Yeah, if I didn't mean that you should shoot your shot with a Frega. You're gonna tell me how you pulled that off. She's actually quite nice. Do I have to? Yes. Sit down. I snuck you some bread rolls from the buffet. Oh, have you tried them? They're amazing. Yeah. It really is you. Oh? Where have you been all this time, Beatrice? We've been so worried about you. Really? Here's you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave. Oh, don't get jelly. I've known for a while, but I still can't believe it. You're actually marrying her, aren't you? Didn't leave me much choice. Future King of Wyverngard, I have responsibilities. Doubt you would know anything about that. Oh. When did you suddenly start caring so much about responsibility? I've always done what I had to do for the people of Wyverngard. I barely even recognize you anymore. I'd certainly hope so, considering what I was like back then. I've always done what is necessary to stay in control. What you're doing to Arya, it's... Oh? I know. But she's willing to put aside her disdain of me for the sake of Wyverngard. Oh, you... sorry child. Oh, God. 9 hells, do you seriously still not... Never mind. It seems that you're just as much of an oaf as you were before. And your words still have such a unique way of cutting through me like a knife. I oddly missed that. Beatrice just scoffed at that. Oh my god, please say it again. I really don't want to. Come on, look at your face gets better each time. Hey, my fellow blonde, what's going on? Started slamming her fist on the table, drawing some looks from the aristocrats nearby. Girl, please. I can't believe it. Guess any line will work when it comes from you. I'm just glad it's over. I look like an idiot out there. Hey, it's not over yet. You owe me a dance. What? Don't be like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this? I had a chance to object. She grabbed my hand and started dragging me to the middle of the dance floor. Celeste! People are staring at us! Who cares? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. She took hold of my other hand and pulled me into a waltz. Tense in the shoulders. Celeste, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's easy. Just stop being so awkward about it. That was easy for her to say. Alright, can you at least tell me what to do? Well, first... Oh, yeah! You need to be closer to me. Oh. Oh. One swift motion, she pulled my body closer to hers. There. I don't remember being this close when I was dancing with Leify. Yeah? Well, I'm not Leify. Watch where I'm going and follow my lead. Oh. You seem to know a lot about these things. I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? I see. I carefully watched the movements of her feet and tried to match them. After a while, we both fell into a gentle rhythm. I nicely stepped on her foot, but she didn't seem to react at all. Was she being polite, or did she genuinely not feel any pain? Felt different. You're getting it, but don't focus so much on where your feet are. Just look at me. But if I do, my face starts getting really hot and flushed, and oh my god, you're beautiful. What? Come on, look up. Finally looked up at her, and she smiled back at me. It's embarrassing being this close, but every time I avoided her eyes, I found myself being drawn back into them. Ah, there he is. The infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. He never turns away from challenging a noble, but he can't dance a step to save his life. I was starting to become lightheaded for some reason. Am I sweating too much? I really hoped it was invisible. Oh. Part of my body was tense, but I didn't want to break away from her. There's comforting warmth behind all this. Things are always different with her. Oh. Let myself relax a bit more. Continued matching her movements. See? There you go. But... what is it? You know the man is supposed to lead, right? Maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. Maybe you just suck at this. Also true. I'd forgotten what it was like to let go like this. Yeah, gradually becoming more relaxed. Good on you, man. It felt like there was something to prepare for. A client that needed saving, a killer that needed catching. And so caught up in trying to learn more about the Eye of Horus that I was ignoring the thoughts I'd been having. Deep breath. Let me talk about what happened in Aranax. Oh! Felt her arm tense around my shoulder. It was weird, wasn't it? Us sleeping together. Or, I mean, you know, we didn't sleep together, but... I was nailing this. I was absolutely nailing this. Good job. No, I get it. It wasn't exactly professional. Yes, exactly. It was very unprofessional of me. Even if it worry or an accident, I'm worried that I overstepped my boundaries as your employer. Well, Ruby's my employer. You're different. Different? How? Didn't think about it a moment before she sighed to herself. Oh no, you were totally nailing this to a tree with a stapler. Yes, you're the only person who doesn't treat me like a monster. Is you're a mage? Come on, Tyrion, you've seen me fight. I know you're just being polite about it, but it's off-putting, right? It really isn't. What do you want? What are you talking about? Really? Doesn't freak you out whenever I beat up a crowd of thugs in an alleyway? How about last night when I ragged all that thief trying to break into your house? I was honestly more impressed by that than anything else. Kinda hot. Not gonna lie. Not being nice about it. You know it's not normal. Something inside me really enjoys fighting. Love it, but I also hate it. When someone sees me fight, they start looking at me like I'm some kind of bloodthirsty freak. My parents used to look at me like that sometimes. I'd be sorry if I ever looked at you like that. That's the worst part. You haven't. Never know what you're really thinking. Always charge head first into danger without a second thought. This whole kingdom is rotting in corruption. I don't get how you can be so hopeful and optimistic at the same time, all the time. I admire you for that, but sometimes it feels too good to be true. So you wonder what's really going on inside your head. You're really passionate about protecting the people you care about. When you fight, you see someone who cares deeply. You love the people around you, so much that you're driven to stop anyone who threatens them. Make it all look so effortless. I don't think I've ever met anyone as strong as you. Thought you were always proud of that. One of the things I've always admired about you. Oh. Yes, a smile kind of. You know the truth about me. I'm not some idealistic hero. I'm just a dumb, dramatized kid who thinks he can save everyone. Both stayed silent for a while, moving to the beat of the music. Tyrion, I didn't mind being unprofessional with you. Oh, that's good. Only if you were okay with that. Would you be okay with things like that? Oh, wasn't certain what that meant, or why she suddenly switched to the present tense. She's trying to imply that she also wanted to. No, I couldn't rush forward before I had more evidence. More tactful and vague. Oh no. Well, I appreciate some level of professionalism when I work, but with you, I mean, that's to say that I'd like to attempt. Very smooth of you. That's not to say that I don't not want to only be professional with you. What? Dear Lord, I just need to say what I wanted to say. I've never felt this way about someone before. Oh! There it is. E-Smash unlocked. I don't know how to navigate this, but if I want to, if you're okay with it, could we try it? Uh-oh. Oh no, ruining the moment. Suddenly heard the footfalls of several knights behind me. Left eyes widened, her lips pursed. I used to begin to turn my head to see what the commotion was, but she just grabbed me by the chin. Why don't you finish that thought first? Beatrice Frega. Did you say Beatrice Frega? I think something's happening. Nope, it's just Orm. Turns out he's just an absolute monster on the dance floor. That just makes me want to look more. By the authority of the wife of God crown, you're under arrest. Seriously? Now? Oh, we should go see what's happening. Yeah. Whoa! You are completely out of line, Commander. So I told you to stand down. Alaric, their wife? Oh. You don't recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Frega. I can't really do that, Your Highnesses. Before Beatrice, we saw the two princes standing before the Inquisition and Beatrice. Your Highness, what's going on? Crown Prince scanned the room. Everyone's eyes were on him. He leaned toward me and spoke in a hushed whisper. It's William Frega. Was found murdered in his study. These cretins think that Beatrice is behind it somehow. Sorry, Your Highness, but my orders come straight from Steelwind. Lady Steelwind sent you? Beatrice cursed under her breath and clapped her hands together. I should go with them. What? No! My brother is right. They have no right to. causing a scene, and I don't want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure I'll be exonerated once they've thoroughly investigated what happened. Okay. What? You can't just let them take her away? Mother, she's correct. It's not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom. But... However... Yes, Your Highness. Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her. Is what? Okay, so we know that this is in fact factually correct. Anyways, we're gonna need to take you to a holding cell, lady. Or you should stay with her and guide her through. Please, I'm not a child. Just walked past the knights and toward the foyer. Fear that she already knew her way out. Oh. Shouldn't you all be following her? Right. In position, move out. It seemed to be just my luck that a night like this would end in a murder. What the hell's going on? Or Celeste just cursing her luck. It was this close to escalating things. This close to that relationship upgrade, and real life had to come crashing down on it. I can't believe they kept us here till noon. Lord's ball had already run well into the night, even before the murder occurred. But nothing more than to catch up on my lost sleep, but I made a promise to the Crown Prince. In our meeting with William, she was with my brother and me the entire night. She couldn't have stolen the sword of spell-eating and have murdered her father. All the people that could have done those two crimes, why would Steven suspect a blind woman? Steven was never one to abuse her authority. There'd be a reason behind the arrest. Mentioned that the sword of spell-eating had been stolen. What Harold had said about it, I was uneasy about it going missing. Mr. Cuthbert, could you defend Beatrice against these awful charges? I doubt that'll be necessary. What? Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure that she'll be the one defending her. It certainly puts my mind at ease. What's wrong? I'd like for you to investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuthbert. What? We just told you that Mr. Moore will. I know, but Beatrice is a dear friend of mine. I'd like every chance for her to be found innocent. It's a dear friend. We've known each other since she was a Frega. Why would Mr. Moore, of all people, represent a member of a Pillar family? Lefe was also seemed like she hadn't seen Beatrice in a long time. It's as if she'd spotted a ghost. I believe this. Celeste returned to the ballroom. She changed back into her normal clothes. What's wrong? People in the courtroom said they couldn't find my sword. What? Celeste went to the courtroom. Aha! She once told me that it was forged in the Eastern Kingdoms and crafted in the bones of a purple worm. Potentially very valuable. Did someone steal it? Let's keep an eye out for it when we look around the manor. This might not be just some kind of weird mix-up. I hope so. So... Can we continue what we were talking about before? Why was I so nervous about this? Just need to tell her how I felt. Did I feel? Either for the best that we focus on the investigation. His Highness is counting on us after all. I was being a coward, but there was a kernel of truth to what I was saying. Okay, but we will be talking about this later. You bet. To the crime scene. His Highness said that's where the body was found. There it is. Thanks for fixing my runestone. I was worried I'd have to buy a replacement. Honestly, artificery is kind of fun. I don't want to make something else. Did you want to learn how to make small machines? I was thinking more of a weapon. Yeah, be careful. Making magic weapons can be iffy with the kingdom's laws. But that's a good thing. I have a pretty good lawyer.
Prepario Arcanum!
These chandeliers look fancy enough to be worth a small fortune. Banking houses are loaded, aren't they? These tables with centerpiece of flowers on it. To be honest, it kind of looks tacky. I'm sure the notions of aesthetics must fly over the heads of peasants like us. Alright, let's go. What? They just take the whole fucking container? Returned to the gallery and saw a legion of knights inspecting the crime scene and the theft. It seemed Mr. Harold sit anywhere. Physician must still be questioning him. Test. There's one for Stacy viewing touch stuff. Automatons like arcane constructs. One scientist was importing a bunch of them. Or cars for his plants in Aranax. Knowledge of these constructs was probably invented there. A researcher? Matt Furland. Combinatorial magic theory. What is that? I have no idea. Lakecase had held the armbands of intellect is empty. Should we be concerned about that? Lakecase holding the earrings of vitality was completely untouched. Restore the artifacts, ignored it. Artifacts plural? Lakecase is completely shattered. He was able to do this despite there being several abjuration spells protecting it. It's an obvious thing we can do.
Arcanum!
Whoa! Traces of evocation magic on the shattered glass. Evocation is a school of magic that creates and unleashes raw energy. It's the most primal of the 7 schools of magic. Someone must have used a powerful spell to blast that display case apart. Alright. Not much we can do there, so... Arrived at the crime scene and saw the usual swarm of Inquisition knights. However, there were also some members of the Kingsguard alongside them. They've been working together since the victim was the head of a pillar family. I wasn't expecting to see you here, Mr. Cuthbert. But Ruby Tamora was defending this case. Prosecutor Stewart approached us as we entered this study. Which was followed by an unexpected yet familiar face. Wallace, what are you doing here? He's here as my aide for the investigation. Damn, so she was already, So she's already been attacked in the night. Huh. I didn't doubt Wallace's abilities, but why would Stewart need his help? Anyways, we're here on the behalf of the Crown Prince. He hired us to investigate this case independently. I see. I'm sure he just wants to make sure the investigation goes smoothly. Well, if you're here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you. This whole situation was strange, but our goal remained the same. Stewart should be able to tell us more about what happened. Your runestone is still in good shape, I see. Only because Celeste is really good at preparing it. You never told me you could work with artificer. I started learning about it a month ago. Really? What's wrong? It's nothing. Yeah. Curious? How does she have so much raw natural talent? She's just her. She's just her. What's wrong? The entire room is covered in traces of abjuration magic. Everything is glowing white. Alright, that makes sense. There's several anti-magic fields covering the manor. Those fields probably left traces of abjuration everywhere. Won't bother you showing you the traces of abjuration I find while we're here. Fireplace. Could the murderer have entered through here? Wouldn't be possible. Chimney is far too narrow. A small child would be thin enough to fit through it. Oh, hello. Here's some sort of scholar. There's some text on it. Rock Resignar, economic scholar and aristocratic accountant. Known in some circles as Rook the Cook. His ability to cook the books of the 4 pillar houses. The Cook. I wish I could have a nickname like that. What about Crimson Demon? Not that one. 2 stacks of books. More books about economics and politics. Sounds like there's anything out of note. Okay. Same stack. Charlie?
Preparing Arcanum!
Bookshelf filled with books. What kind of books did Duke own? Wait a minute, they're all blank. All his real books seem to be on the floor at his desk. Ah, the old business. Guild business office displaying the new useless books just to fill the bookshelf for the aesthetic. The window that leads into this room. The murderer have escaped through here? No, the window didn't open and the glass was magically reinforced. It's a large mahogany table at the end of the room. Duke must have done his work here. Blood and a chalk outline where the body must have been. Can you tell me about the murder? William Frega was found dead in this room after the lockdown was lifted. Wait, lockdown? What lockdown? Well, from what you can tell, his throat had been slashed open with a letter opener. Also, that was blood loss. Both of his carotid arteries were severed. It was expertly done. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description. Illusion magic. Were you able to find the murder weapon? Yes. It's a letter opener owned by the victim. Murderer must have found it in this room and used it. There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. Not sure what to make of that detail, but it's as if something crushed the handle using tremendous force. Curious? What have caused the handle to shatter like that? You mentioned that there was a lockdown. When did this happen? You didn't notice? The Inquisition did try to be discreet. You noticed the commotion Beatrice and the two princes made over it. I suppose you two must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you? Yeah. Oh. Imagine the two were still dancing while... and having a moment while just, everything was just starting to lock down and the party was just dying down, nerves starting to spread. And they just kept dancing. Anyways, you said that the Duke's body was found after the lockdown. Was the lockdown triggered when the sport of spell eating went missing? It didn't just go missing. There was clear evidence that someone had broken into one of the heralds and exhibits. There was also a theft last night. Does the Manor's lockdown system behave like the one at the Imperial Academy? The systems are somewhat different. Like the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevented people from leaving or entering the Manor. So not all the rooms were locked. But what about this specific room? This room does have an abjurative wards. Does have abjurative wards that lock the door to prevent teleportation in and out of it. In addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the banner. Ooh. 10-foot radius sphere. Nullifies all magic within it. The system somehow covered the entire banner in this effect. I'm sure you noticed the several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the manor. Those crystals produced an anti-magic field during the lockdown. Anyone with the sport of spell eating be immune to the effects of the lockdown. So no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown. Not exactly. Someone could have used the stolen artifact to circumvent it. They would have to get to the artifact first before they'd be able to let out any abjuration. Which is weird, because they'd have to get into the case in order to shatter the glass and steal the sword. Can you tell me more about the theft? Who reported it? After Lord Haraldson reported what had happened, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try and find it. It was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom. Led them to believe that she had stolen it. That's correct. The Kingsguard moved to arrest her, but His Highness ordered them to step down. It didn't look like she was planning on fleeing. They planned to wait until after the party had ended. Then they found the Duke's body. Correct. We believe that she used the stolen sword to nullify the magical locks and break into the Duke's study. But if she had the sword, why wouldn't she use that to commit the murder? We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories. She might have wanted to prevent theft from being tied to the murder. Perhaps she had more confidence wielding a knife instead of a sword. Regardless of her reason, it's clear that the sword wasn't the murder weapon. She's not just being implicated in the Duke's murder, she's also being charged with stealing the sword of spell eating. What possible reason would she have to do either of those crimes? How could she possibly carry out all these crimes if she was killed? Or she was blind, sorry. I can't read. Let's see. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about here. The body was found in here. Was the Duke locked in this room during the lockdown? Yes. William Frega knew that this room should have been secured. supposedly in a bad mood. He locked himself in this room for most of the night. He refused to let anyone into this room. The person he spoke to after that was Leifei. He tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied with something else. He said that he wanted to stay in his study for the rest of the night. When did this happen? It was shortly before the lockdown was activated, a little after 1 a.m. Is there something to the fact that Leifei's a blonde and the other Fregas have blue hair? Or did she just roll the tails in the genetics coin flip? Something. It was shortly before the lockdown was activated, a little after 1 a.m. I see. Leifei must have been the last person to see William Frega alive then. I was already acquainted with her. She may be able to tell me more about the Duke's actions that night. By the way, Steelwind, do you have a map of the manor? I do. Would you like a copy? Please, thank you. Alright. Huh. That's a curious arrangement of Beatrice's bedroom. Gallery is literally right next to William's bedroom. And also William died in the study. Any of the witnesses aside from Leifei who saw the Duke that night? It was someone who heard the altercation, but it's not much to go off of. The servant was trapped in a storage room nearby. The air vent that connects to this room runs through that storage room. Suppose they heard the sounds of a struggle through the vent. What is witness here? The sounds of a struggle before he heard the Duke choking, presumably on his own blood. Lockdown was lifted, he informed the King's Guard of what he'd heard. That's when they discovered the body. See, who was the servant? If you actually know him, his name is Jan Hughes. What? What is Jan doing here? I'm expected to see him again, much less here of all places. Will William Frega hire him after he was let go from the academy? Huh. That's a unexpected line of work change. Beatrice, eh? Steve, when I really need to understand why you think Beatrice did this. She's completely blind, isn't she? You don't know her as I do. It just seems really difficult to believe. House Frega has always thrived by politically maneuvering around the other pillar families. And no one has embodied that more than Beatrice. Through years studying at the Imperial Academy, she didn't just excel, she dominated. She had uncanny talent for understanding what people wanted and she knew exactly how to use that to her advantage. During her first year, she had the ear of the Student Council president. In her second year, she had stolen his position from him. She only gained more influence after that. It wasn't long before professors were deferring to her. Students would seek her favor. She even had her hands in the school board. In 4 short years, she had turned the Imperial Academy into her own personal empire. She's always calculating, and she knows exactly how to get what she wants. She was even arranged to marry the Crown Prince. Even now, I'm living in her shadow. Oh, what? Something happened to change that? I won't speak much more of it, but there was an accident. She was horribly injured and she lost her sight. I'm not sure what happened after that, but she later fled Frega Manor and went into hiding. No one knew where she'd gone, and she ignored any attempts we made to contact her. Last night's ball was the first time in years that Astor and I had seen her. How did Mr. Moore meet her? That's a very good question. Do you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all these years? I have some ideas, but nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Mora and Beatrice have both refused to disclose anything about their meeting. What could that meeting have been about? Speaking of which, I haven't seen Tamora anywhere in the manor. As a defendant's attorney, I would have thought that she'd be here to investigate the murder alongside you. It was strange. Miss Tamora has always had her own way of doing her job. Perhaps she was using a different strategy. Yeah, you could say that. You could call it that. Anyways, I imagine that she met with her father to request financial aid. What makes you say that? I have it on good authority that she was deeply in debt. Ah, was she truly that desperate? It's the only reason why she would speak with her father after all these years. Also, I believe she was the one who murdered him. I think she murdered him for his inheritance. It's the only motive that makes sense. There's a lot to work through here. The prosecution was trying to assert that Beatrice committed this murder. What would she have needed to do? Carry out all the actions described. We need to narrow down the time that the murder occurred. He was discovered after the lockdown was lifted, and Frega saw her father alive before it was activated. She entered her study, and she watched as the lock engaged.
Maybe. What if?
Right, the murder must have occurred during the lockdown. That means that the murderer somehow got past the abjuration wards that protected this room. Stewart and the Inquisition believed that Beatrice used the sword of spell eating to get past them. Regardless of what they think, we need to assume that the murderer used some kind of magic nullification to get into William's study. That's not necessarily true, is it? What if the murderer entered the room before William locked it? In the room when William locked it, would have been trapped here until he decided to leave. Like that, they would have been discovered the moment the guards just entered his study. They used some kind of invisibility. Maybe they could have teleported away the moment the Kingsguard unlocked the door. This room was enchanted to block teleportation. A spell like that wouldn't have worked. Right. Remember, Miriam did something similar to her dorm room at the Imperial Academy. So that's the theory of an invisible assailant. I think we did find small traces of illusion magic. And when the guards saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. That spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in the room. Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. So mages can use Detect Magic as a way to see them. So we know for sure they weren't here before or after the lockdown. That's okay, Celeste. It's just another opportunity to learn more. This means that whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the abjurative wards that protect this room. Alright, information we know. The next thing to consider is the murder weapon. Letter opener that was presumably owned by William Frega. Murderer probably used it to avoid leaving evidence that incriminated them.
What if... Maybe.
Right. Letter opener came from this room. Murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them. They decided to use it and leave it here afterwards. It's a glaring hole in the prosecution's case. What would that be, Mr. Cuthbert? Beatrice Frega is completely blind. Even if she were somehow able to break into a highly guarded exhibit, how would she slip past the guards and enter the Duke's study? Furthermore, how did she locate the letter opener if she couldn't see it in the first place? None of it makes sense. I think this murder unseen would have been a tall order for anyone. I really believe a blind person did all this. You'd do well not to underestimate her, Mr. Cuthbert. I understand that she's probably really intelligent, but it just seems impossible. There's anything I know about Beatrice Frega, she can turn impossibility into inevitability if she wants to. Well, I guess we'll see. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Cuthbert? What's wrong? What would you do if you discovered that one of your clients was guilty? What? tend to have an insight into these sorts of things. I've never been in that position. I've already seen your uncanny ability to read people, but why don't you just humor me? What would you do if they were guilty? I suppose I'd withdraw to tell them to find another lawyer. There's no one else would represent them. I don't know. It'd definitely be a difficult choice for me. I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I think I could stand by and let a murderer escape justice. Why do you ask? No reason. Okay. Anyways, she made her stance clear. I still had a lot of leads to follow up on. Go here. Anyone here? Come on, Tracker, where are you? Ah, Drew! As I entered Beatrice's room, I was assaulted by a large cloud of dust. So I've got in my eyes. Oh! My vision cleared up. I realized that there was someone else in the room with us. Oh, Lefe. Sorry, didn't mean to barge in. No, there's no need to apologize. Hello, fellow blonde. That's adorable that she finds that charming. I didn't really need to be reminded about that right now. Hi! I'm really sorry for leaving so abruptly like that. No, I understand. I just wandered around the room. I felt really awkward for some reason. Probably for the best anyway. I had no idea what I was doing out there. My feet still hurt. Oh! No, you're fine. I'm sure with enough practice you'll get the hang of it. I'll have to dance with you again. Oh. Most of the men who approached me during the ball seem to think too highly of themselves. I much prefer your company. With that, we'll have to wait. We're here on behalf of the Crown Prince to investigate what happened. Right. We were wondering if we could ask you some questions. Posture became tense, which was to be expected considering the circumstances. Of course. I'd be happy to help. Oh. We immediately leave. What do you think, Lifey? It's a runestone! It's an attorney's runestone. It proves I'm a certified attorney. Yes, I'm quite familiar with them. They're truly a feat of artificery. Miriam has won for her studies. She's always so engrossed in it whenever she visits. She never talks to me. Oh.
Repario Arcanum.
Oh shit. There's a trace of transmutation magic under the bed. I can see it clearly. Let me take a closer look. Crimson Lotus! What? It's my sword! What? Even knew her sword had a name. This is where it's been. How is it in Beatrice's room? I just had to take it, but I blocked her hand. This was the room they found the sword of spell eating. It's likely that the two thefts are related. Why? The only thing similar about them is that they're both swords. I know, but this could still be a part of the crime scene. You shouldn't disturb it. What? I'll talk to Steelwind. She can send some knights to guard it. Okay, fine. There's definitely more to this, but what? Curious. It's a highly extravagant bed. Looks similar to the one from Miriam's room and the one in Miriam's store with the Imperial Academy. Very dark wallpaper and the curtains give the room a very dark tone. The rest are covered in a layer of dust. Doesn't look like it's been touched in years. Oh. Feel for guests, but like everything else, it's extremely dusty. I do realize this is pretty much an exact copy. I do realize this is pretty much an exact copy of Miriam's dorm room from the Academy. Actually, I apologize that your investigation didn't lead anywhere, Miss McCoy. No, it's fine. My expectations weren't that high coming into this. I still wanted to try, you know? Only I could have that much optimism. Oh, alright, we won't talk about that. Yeah, this is definitely Beatrice's room. Contradiction about that is Beatrice's bedroom has no window to the outside. There's a hallway running around all of it. And 2 doors. Objection, Your Honor. Unless the windows just open up into the hallway. That'd be awkward. So, Leify, what'd you see? Steven told us that you were the last person to see William Frega that night. Did you notice anything unusual about your father's behavior? Oh, he was extremely upset. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. Servants said that he demanded to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after Beatrice left. I had to speak with him when the theft was reported. He didn't much care about the missing artifact. Oh, making the changes to his will. He told me to leave him alone and let the Kingsguard investigate the sword. But that was an interesting thought. When did you speak with him last? It was before they activated the lockdown. It was a little after 1 a.m. that night. So Miriam... So we can pretty much confirm that Miriam is lying. Do you have any idea what he was doing in his study? What? No, I have no idea. If is there something you're not telling us? Important enough for us to know about your father's actions that night. Sorry, I don't know anything else. Father didn't share much with anyone, even his own family. Wish I could be of more help, but I really don't know anything else. He was clearly holding something back. Reveal what she was hiding through an argument. She might be more willing to cooperate. Need more information about William and his will first. This room is really dusty. Why hasn't anyone cleaned it? Forbidden the servants from cleaning this room. Beatrice is very dear to me. Couldn't bear to have her room disturbed after she left. This room was the only memory I had of her. She must have been holding on to the hope that her sister would return. It must have been 5 really long years. What about the sword of spell eating? Do you know how it ended up in this room? I'm not sure. Perhaps they knew that the servants were ordered never to enter this room. It's even possible someone planted it here to frame Beatrice. William? What can you tell me about your father? My father was a complicated man. He was a brilliant aristocrat and businessman, but he was a cold, distant father. See, did he have any enemies? As head of House Frega, he controlled every banking house in Wyverngard. Many people who resented his wealth and power. Do you remember anyone specific? Perhaps someone that he'd slighted recently. It was Lord von Sanctus. Ruling Lord of Aranax? Yes. I'm sure you remember him. His reputation plummeted after Dracogen's trial. My father took that as an opportunity to slowly take control of von Sanctus Industries. But I've heard he's been extremely bitter about that. Things as tense as they are, I doubt he'd get himself involved in another murder. I could never be too sure. Von Sanctus was a little sniveling prick. One spotted a cat walking around during Lord's Ball, did they? No, I'm certain that there weren't any cats present. I was oddly confident about that. Either way, it sounded like I would have to speak with him and get more details. I really doubt that he'd even consider cooperating with me. Yeah. What can you tell me about Beatrice Frega? I heard that she fled the Frega estate 5 years ago. Before she left, Beatrice was one of the most powerful mages I've ever seen. She is incredible. At age 13, her talent for magic had even eclipsed my father's. It was never enough for him. What do you mean? When my mother died, he desperately wanted a son, but he only ever had daughters. Beatrice was just as sharp as he ever was. She knew which threads to pull to get the results that she wanted, just like my father. I thought that Beatrice would inevitably become the head of House Frega. Our family knew the truth. No matter how hard Beatrice tried, my father would never acknowledge her accomplishments. It was extremely cruel to her, constantly belittled her achievements, dismissed anything she said to him. After the accident, he used her disability as an excuse to take away everything she had built for herself. Huh. It's not too painful for you. Could you tell me more about Beatrice's accident? Is this even relevant to the investigation? It may be. Any small detail could make a difference. I'll learn everything I can. I'm sure about exactly what happened, but it was a magical experiment gone wrong. Beatrice is working on a project at the Imperial Academy. She was trying to create a new spell formula. So I'm not sure what happened, but there was an adverse magical reaction. The resulting explosion severely injured her and left her completely blind. I can't imagine how she must have felt. Actually, she was probably the most unfazed by what happened. Even on that hospital bed, she was still thinking of how to move forward. She was always calculating like that. That didn't matter. My father saw his opportunity. Told me that we were relieving her of her duties so that she could recover. I knew the truth. He was going to take away her political power and social standing. He wanted to reduce her to a mere decoration for our home. Just like he'd done to every other woman in our family. And that must have been why she left. Did she contact you during the time that she was missing? No. No one had heard from her during that time. Just I was worried for her. I was also a little happy. Like Miriam and I, she had finally broken free from my father. I learned everything I could for now. I'm gonna move elsewhere. I'm sure Beatrice's return must have been a real surprise for you. It is. To be honest, I'd been hoping for years that she'd finally return. And that she has. She's just gotten pulled into one of our family's messes. Oh. That man. He was my father, but I can't say I have fond memories of him. It's been difficult to deal with. You have no idea. He was cruel, tyrannical, and only ever cared about his own legacy. He was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to maintain his power and status, including his own daughters. It sounded like his treatment of Beatrice was particularly harsh. Was. He never saw her as a worthy successor to our family's legacy. Simply because she was a woman. And after her accident, he used her disability as an excuse to strip her of any power she had left. I imagine how difficult that must have been for all of you. It was a constant struggle, but we managed to survive. As bad as it sounds, now that he's gone, we'd have a chance to rebuild our family. Ooh. Alright, let's go elsewhere. Uh-oh. In the storage room, hoping to investigate the air vent connected with the Duke's study. I come across a person lying on the floor. What? Wait, Jan, is that you? Oh man, what's with all that noise? I was having such a good nap too. Mr. Hughes? Oh, it's you two. Why are we taking a nap at the storage room? Kingsguard won't let us leave until they finish investigating the murder. I spotted Lucio Steelwood in that room with the nice couches. Now why am I sleeping anywhere near that guy? Lucio Steelwood was here? I'm surprised someone like him would attend Lord's ball. Anyways, the prosecutor told us that you heard the murder from here during the lockdown. Think you could tell us what happened? Sure, why not? My nap's ruined anyways. I feel like we've done this before. Sorry, did I already show you my runestone at the academy? Oh no, probably. But they really need to make runestone that can instantly clean any surface. Why would an attorney need a function like that? They want to conceal evidence.
Arcanum.
Uh-oh. Stepladder. I agree. Yeah. Several boxes in this room. Here to contain various cleaning supplies. No, that's a fucking ladder. That's a fucking... Is that even a ladder? That's a drying rack. Is that even climbing safe? There's an area that leads into the Duke's study. Supposedly Jan heard the altercation between the Duke and his assailant through this. Is he working as a servant now? Not exactly. He was a part of the catering staff. Twins started their own food business after the Frega threw us out of the academy. Oh! Right. Sorry about that. Things happen. Mostly got him out of that place. Wait, are Valentina and Valerie here too? No. They just contracted some staff to the Duke for the Lord's Ball. I think a bunch of other businesses did the same thing. Wonder how they felt about this. Their services to the very men who got them fired in the first place. I mean, if they're paying. William must have offered them a lot of gold. Yeah, if they're paying handsomely for their services, then that's a hefty. There's principals being pissed off at the aristocracy, and then there's capitalism. Yes, I will take your money and give you I will take a significant amount of money from you. Man, I can't believe I got myself pulled into another murder investigation. Do I have bad luck or what? Prosecutors told us that you heard the altercation through the air vents. Which tells exactly what you heard. I didn't hear anything. I was taking a nap in the room when it happened. Why were you napping here? Nothing else to do. I suddenly closed the door when the lock was engaged. Before I knew it, I was trapped here. Well, the sounds of some kind of scuffle were coming through the vents. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard the Duke shout, "Who are you? What do you want?" I went on for a few seconds, hearing the sound of someone getting stabbed. Did you hear the voice of the assailant? He didn't say anything, but I did hear them. The voice was really raspy, like they had a sore throat or something. Trying to mask their voice. Which out of the storage room anyways? Servants were complaining about the rats running through the air vents. They sent me to take care of it. I heard one of them running the vents upstairs and I followed it here. I figured I had nowhere else to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down. When I was done, I tried to leave, but the door was locked. So I took a nap. Rats. I heard a few words before the murder struck the vital blow. It was a small piece. Peace nonetheless, and the way it was time to move somewhere else. Did your traps catch anything? Alright. Lucia's here. Explored the manor further and found one of its many sitting rooms. Uh-oh. There I spotted a very familiar face. Sipping on a glass of wine, and his indifferent expression turned into a sneer the moment I entered the room. Oh, wonderful. As if my day couldn't have gotten any worse. Von Sanctus, what are you doing here? The head of a noble house has just been murdered. Can't very well return to Ornax when my affairs are in such disarray. I heard that you've been busy since we last met. It'd be difficult losing your empire to House Frega. Tyrion, we do need his testimony. Is that so? What makes you think I'd ever help the likes of you? I guess it would take suspicion off of you. With your reputation, you could probably use all the help you can get. How dare you! I'll have you know that I'm still a respected member of the nobility. Respected? Is that where the papers keep talking about your plot to blow up Arcane? That's the way I see it. Being involved in another scandal would destroy what's left of your reputation. Oh, that makes reference to me! To be perfectly honest, I'd like nothing more than to drag you onto the stand and embarrass you a third time. Could do is grumble under his breath. Very well. Means I won't have to suffer your presence any longer. I'll oblige and answer your questions. Guess what, motherfucker? What do I show this thing to be? Let's let you know that there will always be people willing to stand up to you. You know Von Sanctus Industries manufactures those rune stones, don't you? What? The kingdom distributes those to practicing attorneys. Where do you think they came from? My world has just been shattered. To you, Tyrion. But my runestone proves that you're a certified attorney. Doesn't matter where it came from. It matters how you use it. Guess you're right. What's this? Depending some adventurers in a tavern. Oh, that's cute. Whoa? He's with Beatrice Frega the First. The First? According to legend, she was one of the descendants of the 7 heroes of Rivengard. It's her, the cheeks being tugged. She joined a band of adventurers who were traveling across the nation. Got to imagine the Fregas coming from such humble beginnings. What? Wait, what? Excuse me? What is it now? The muscular man in the corner, he just vanished. What do you want about? There's never a man there. He's right. No, I'm sure he was there. Alright, you feeling okay? I was just seeing things. I really need to sleep. That's suspicious.
Arcanum.
That's suspicious. Shelf filled with books? Fake books. Completely blank. The door that leads to the coat room. It's a code that leads to the door room. They're made from mahogany. Part of this house just exudes wealth. Wealth that's been siphoned out of the common folk. I'm here to talk to you. Honestly, it's just one mess after another with you. Mess? Wouldn't you have a lot to gain from William Frega's death? Only one. If only viewed things superficially, you might be right. But it's far more complicated than that. As Frega controls the banking houses, they're the main pillar of support for Rivengard's economy. William's death could have had unimaginable economic consequences, regardless of who inherits his house. He wouldn't be so foolish enough to do something like that. That remains to be seen. Think what you will. There are others who would benefit from William Frega's death. Mentioned that the other people would benefit from Frega's death. Who specifically? I'd venture a guess I would say Lucio Stewin benefits the most. You just said that the Duke's death could have unimaginable consequences for the economy. Huh. You think that brute cares about Rivengard's economy? No, the man cares about his power. Pure and physical power. House Stewin and House Frega have been fighting for control of Rivengard for generations. In this long-lasting era of peace, Stewin's military has become far less valuable to the crown. Everything House Stewin has done, I suppose, completely mishandled these recent insurrections. Or for Lady Stewin's engagement to the Crown Prince, may not even be considered a pillar family. The death of William Frega is probably exactly what Lucio Stewin has been waiting for. I was definitely in line with what I've heard about the Grand General. It wasn't as if he was a stranger to murder either. Has it been another one of his assassinations? Imagine if our economy were to suffer, it would slowly create civil unrest. In a scenario like that, the Crown would have to rely on Stewin's forces to maintain order. I'm sure you can imagine how that might turn out. Don't you think Lucio Stewin would have much to gain from this, but you think of anyone else? Well, there is Harold Haraldson. That can't be his real name. What would Mr. Haraldson possibly gain from Frega's death? What I've heard, William was planning to defund the Haraldson Hall of History. Really? Why would he do that? I'm not sure of the specifics. Supposedly Lord Haraldson had refused to omit the less flattering parts of Rivengard's history from his exhibits. Gotten blatant enough that he's drawn the ire of the king himself. Actually got in a very heated argument during the Lord's Ball about it. Yet William declared that he'd be removing House Haraldson from his estate. Didn't want to suspect Mr. Haraldson, but I need to examine every possibility. He had the easiest access to the sword of spell eating. Would have staged a robbery to cover his tracks. Yeah, like, the point I'm still clinging on to as confusing is that like, you would need to get to the sword in the first place to be able to cast any kind of spell to stage a robbery, and it looked like the case exploded outward. So, what did you tell me about the defendant in this case? What? She's your client. Surely you would know her better than I. Humor me. I'm sure you're aware that she fled the Frega estate 5 years ago. In doing so, she dealt a blow to the House Frega's reputation and directly insulted the Crown Prince by breaking her engagement to him. It was quite a scandal at the time, and Lucio wasted no time in pushing his daughter into taking Beatrice's plans. Honestly, the situation is just an absolute mess. Here? Beatrice's return would complicate things? What do you mean by that? Do you find Beatrice's return to be inconvenient for you? What do you want about now? Please. Don't insult my intelligence, Von Sanctus. You must know, my son was arranged to marry William's granddaughter, Leofe. Oh, Leofe. Since Beatrice showed no signs of returning, it was apparent that Leofe would inherit House Frega instead of her. I knew when my days are numbered, so I took preemptive action. We wanted a male heir, and I needed to preserve my house. They both came to an accord. My son and Leofe were arranged to be wed. As Von Sanctus would have been absorbed, at least by Jaden would stand at the helm. Nobles are absolutely awful. Be what you will. I wouldn't expect a commoner to understand. That's the problem with your generation. You have no sense of duty or obligation. Leofe has already expressed resistance to the marriage, even though she was well aware of the details. Now I worry she'll hide behind her sister to end the engagement altogether. Oh. Leofe never mentioned any of this. So I hated to think it. William's death could have gotten her out of her arranged marriage. I need to talk to her about this. Von Sanctus gave us a decent list of suspects. Probably learned everything I could from him for now. Just to move and follow up on these leads. Still no one here. This would be a good spot to end on. Until then. Until then, man, we got a lot going on here. So are we gonna end up being the fucking Professor Layton? I guess the curious part is, once we flash back to the present, are we gonna be playing as Tyrion with all our evidence? The rat spin is real curious. Prayer of Truth. This little bit's interesting. Hannibal's completely shattered. Armbands of intellect were also missing. Curious. There's a lot to chew on here. And we know Eris is also involved in... We know just from... We, the player, know. The outside observer know that Eris is present and involved in whatever business Beatrice and Ruby are involved in. And we know how much we can trust Eris. Mishaunting the meta-narrative. Running! Yeah, this is our tinkering with artificery. Doing some reading. So, you're approaching me. God, this has been real good. This has been a wild case so far. Excited to see where this goes. Until then.